Welcome back. We're coming to you live from Des Moines, Iowa, where possibly the most significant Iowa caucuses in a generation are taking place. A new battle has broken out on the Republican side. The Ted Cruz campaign has redirected many of his Iowa ad dollars away from Trump. He's now focusing, apparently, on Marco Rubio. What is the reason for that shift? Joining us now is Iowa Congressman Steve King, a very famous man in this state. He's the co-chairman of the Ted Cruz campaign here in Iowa. Congressman, it's great to see you this morning.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me on.
So going after Marco Rubio, what's the idea there?
Well, if you look at what happened in the debate the night before last, there was that clash on the immigration issue between Rubio and Cruz. And, to get some clarity on that could be a piece of that. And it could be that they believe, and I'm not looking at any numbers, this is a guess on my part, that they believe that the people that would come off of Rubio are more likely to go to Cruz than perhaps the people that would come off of Trump.
Right.
It's hard to define a Trump supporter, so it's easier to define a Rubio supporter. And it's just absolutely easy to define a Cruz supporter.
I mean, immigration is one of those issues where almost all Republicans, maybe you're the lone exception, have kind of changed their views in the last 10 years. You have been pretty consistent, I will say, but you're a rare person. Do you think it's fair to say most people running for president have changed on that issue?
Well, when I look at the top three people in the polls, there's no question that Donald Trump has flipped his position almost 180. I think a lot of his supporters came to him because he said, I will build a wall and make the Mexicans pay for it, and we're going to deport everybody, round up and deport everybody. But they missed that little part when he said, but then we're going to bring them all back.
Right.
And so I think they're operating over there with the belief that the last part he said wasn't really true, and he's not going to keep that promise. And then when you look at Rubio, he ran on strong border security, anti-amnesty. We cheered him into the United States Senate. And then, of course, he made a common cause with Schumer and others and Lindsey Graham and John McCain and brought the Gang of Eight bill out. That was instantaneous amnesty. And it was perpetual amnesty. It went on forever. And it was retroactive because if they had deported you in the past, they asked you, come apply. We really didn't mean it. So that's pretty serious stuff. And now Rubio says, well, the national security issue has changed because we think some ISIS people could come across the border. So now I don't want to quite do this amnesty right away. I will tell you that
it's all evolving pretty quick, I would have to say. I want to give you a glimpse of what Donald Trump, who's in New Hampshire, I believe, today, is saying about your man, Ted Cruz. Watch this.
So what happened is all of a sudden people said, can you imagine Donald Trump said that that baby is not a U.S. citizen? Now, Ted Cruz may not be a U.S. citizen, right? But he's an anchor baby. No, he's an anchor baby. Ted Cruz is an anchor baby in Canada. But Canada doesn't accept anchor babies. They just waited a long time.
Ted Cruz is an anchor baby in Canada. I don't know what that means exactly, but it's pretty tough. Why isn't Cruz focusing his fire on Donald Trump? And by the way, why are the rest of the candidates giving Trump a pass? He's in the lead now in Iowa, by the polls I read.
Well, this is a wild man. I mean, can you imagine? This is not the WWE, Donald. This is a race for the presidency of the United States of America, and it turns the destiny of our country. Now, who could lay their head down on the pillow at night, not having seen that, and have the confidence that the next morning we would be stable ships sailing along in a pure constitutional conservative direction? Donald Trump I don't think you lay your head on the pillow at night and sleep.
So you don't even think that's worth responding to? What you're saying, in effect, it sounds to me, is that's self-discrediting. Just watch that. We don't need to attack Trump. Just watch Trump, and that's enough.
You know, Chucker, it doesn't even make me mad. I just look at it and think it's completely ridiculous. And I've been making this point that no one challenges Ted Cruz's citizenship. Well, now Donald Trump has, as wild as it is. But as I said, you have to stipulate.
Well, wait. I mean, people have challenged his citizenship. Have challenged whether it's constitutional for him to be elected president.
True. But citizenship, they have not. There's no question that Ted Cruz is a citizen of the United States of America. Right. And so there's only two ways that you're a citizen. You can either be natural born or naturalized.
Yes.
And he's a natural born citizen of the United States. It was an automatic birth certificate that came to him because his mother was a citizen. They just happened to be working outside the country when that happened. Just like, how about children that are born to our military? And they're born off base often. They ought to have a chance to be president of the United States. They're not non-citizens because their parents were serving in Germany or Korea or wherever it might be. And that's the same circumstances here. So it's just this. If you're a naturalized citizen, then it's clear that you're not natural born and you wouldn't be qualified to be president of the United States. But if you're natural born to be a citizen naturally is what that means, then you are qualified to be president of the United States. And I believe that is settled law. And I've gone back and not only read the constitutional, but the 1790 statute that addresses that.
The original one. Steve King, co-chairman of the Ted Cruz for Iowa campaign. We're going to find out really soon whether it's working. It's great to see you this morning, Congressman.
Great to see you.
Thanks
Thank you,
for joining
Tucker.
us.